It's probably meant to just kick you back and do a little bit of damage, but on New Game Plus Plus it does a lot more.
Show me everything you have. Up with a memento.
I'll show you. Not a great start. Holy crap. I had to perfect block both of those or I was dead. Camera was all wonky because the hand was coming down and I couldn't find the spot to do the thing. Still got him though. Holy cow. Yeah, that fight was not as easy as I was thinking it was going to be. on New Game Plus Plus. That was kind of wild. Well, we did it. So now we give over our heart, and that should be platinum. Definitely got to see some more of the cool nuances of that fight. Now that I couldn't just burst him down super fast. I mean, he didn't die that fast on the first playthrough, but definitely saw like all of his attacks maybe once and then staggered him and then was able to kill him. Whereas on New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, he like can combine stuff. He can throw the thing or smack the ground so that the bursts come out of the ground and then like shoot his own projectiles all at the same time, or shoot the projectiles behind you and then do the big hand.
But I do know one thing.
There was one time when he threw the projectiles behind me and then did a big swing, and I blocked the big swing, but it pushed me into the projectiles. So like, yeah, a lot of ridiculous stuff can happen. And then of course, like me getting the stagger right when the hand was coming down and I couldn't see where the stagger point was. Lots of crazy stuff that can happen in that fight. They were definitely trying to make a more gimmicky fight.
Huh? That's...
Makes it very interesting.
I knew you could do it. I dreamed you can be. I just if you give me a bean, give me your heart, son.
Okay.
Give me your yes. You are a good boy till the very end. I believed in you. You are the greatest puppet I ever made. We can be happy now, thanks to you. Thank you. You are such a good boy.
Kind of awkward with my cape. His hand's like phasing through my cape. He seems like oddly surprised. He like told him he could take it.
This finally feels like family. Thank you for returning, Carlo.
Is this truly the future you wanted?
Yeah, I wanted the trophy, so unfortunate, you know. Those boys had to die. I don't know. Trophy's a trophy. If I skip this, will it skip the ending cutscene? I mean, the ending cutscene should be the same anyways. I would imagine. Yeah.
On the Krat experiment.
We'll let this play out just in case there's something afterwards, but there shouldn't be.
I think we have a new brother. A new type of humanity, so to speak.
There are many forms of eternal life.
It's intriguing and worth further observation.
Noted. And we'll have to get his arm back anyway.
I'm counting on it. Expect another report at the next meeting. Paracelsus returning. Ah, and when I return, I will find her. For sure. Another key of ours. Dorothy.
Now we have to make sure we cancel this. Imagine if we didn't cancel that. We'd have to play through the entire game again. I can't wait till the next game when I get to play as the Cowardly Lion. Wait. Gotta pet the cat. Kind of petting the cat with my mind or something. I don't know what's going on there, but not important. Also, I just realized I reset my... Huh. Am I, like, playing as Carlo now? Is that the idea? Because, like, I'm back to being puppet short hair. And I have the default costume on. That's a cool touch. Anyways. This will give us our plat. Boop. Thank you for coming back to me, Carlo. I no longer bear a grudge. Now that you're back, my life is rosy. To make you happy, I plan to stabilize Krat. I suppose getting the puppets and the petrification disease under better control will turn the city back to normal. Remember, you have to be careful with your body. Even though you're an organism, you react to ergo. Maybe it's because that artifact was one of the materials. Still, you came back, and that's what matters. No matter what others say, you're my son. No one will be in our way anymore. I'll rebuild Krat for you. Until then, please stay safe in the hotel. Your father, who cares about you more than anyone. No, he's not kidding. There it is. We did it. Oh. That's a cool platinum picture. Is that... It's like a ghost me, or like a silver looking me. Alright, there it is. The Lies of P. Platt. We did it. Let's jump over to the trophy list and check this one out. Alright. PS5. Lies of P. This was my own project. And full run on stream, yes. Okay, so difficulty. Now this one's going to be tough. I talked about this during the playthrough, but it's hard for me to gauge how hard this game is because I've played a lot of other Souls games. A lot of people in my chat were saying that this game is like a little harder than Bloodborne, or like somewhere around that era, around that range of difficulty. I definitely did not struggle with this game nearly as much as Bloodborne, or really any of the Souls games. But I do feel like it was tough, especially specific bosses. Now, in terms of this, we're rating the difficulty of the trophies, not necessarily the game. The trophies are not super difficult. You just have to do side quests, and side quests are easy. You just have to look up a guide. There are no optional bosses other than the final boss. And none of these like require any skill. Like the trophies themselves make the game no harder. No, we don't rate difficulty based on not a guide, because then half the trophies would be 10s. Pretty much any trophy where there's like stuff you have to collect that you need to look up a guide for would be a 10. good luck getting like all 300 of the what were they, like feathers in Assassin's Creed 1 without a guide. So yeah, but you know, look up a guide, and none of this is going to be a challenge. Like, none of it makes the game harder. It's just chores you have to do. Flags, that's what it was, yeah. So really, we can only base this on how hard it is to just kind of beat the game. And I think it's a tough game, but it's not like crazy. So I'm kind of the realm of giving it like a 7, maybe. I almost want to go 6.5, but it's a Souls game. I feel weird giving it lower than a 7. I think if you didn't have any Souls experience, it would be pretty tough to like just beat the game. But other than that, like, I can't give it any more than a 7 because the trophies just don't add any difficulty whatsoever. You really just have to beat the game and you can get the platinum. So let's call it a 7. Fun rating. The game, the trophies do make you do like all the side quests and learn more about the story and stuff. But there's definitely nothing that's like super fun. There's no like beat the game under a certain amount of time, or beat a certain boss with a certain weapon, or you know, like there's really no like fun stuff. It's just simply do the stuff that the game has. So can't really give it too much of a good fun rating. It's not a bad list though. I do like the list. It makes you do pretty much everything that lets you see more of the story. It makes you get all 3 of the endings. It makes you do the Trinity Sanctum thing, which is like a bonus story thing. So it's certainly not bad. It just has no extra fluff at all. Like there's almost no reason to get this platinum unless you like trophies. You know, it doesn't add anything to the experience. I wouldn't tell someone to get this platinum unless they like trophies. So I think I'll give it also a 7. I think a 7 and a 7 is probably fair. Did it glitch? No, it did not. And what was our final time? Does the game itself have time? Let's see. Oh, it should on this screen. Does that say 60, 41, 21? And that should be all of our playthroughs, I think. So there you go. Perfect. Should be perfectly accurate. And that's pretty short, I feel, for like a Souls game. For a Souls game platinum. 60 hours, 41 minutes. I feel like that's pretty short. Let me see if I search the other Souls games here. Dark Souls 2 took me 114 hours and 54 minutes. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin took me 80 hours. Demon Souls took me 77 hours. I don't know what. I'm almost done with the Dark Souls 3 plat, and it's probably around 80 or something. Bloodborne took me 40 to 50 hours. So Bloodborne was definitely short too. Funny how this game's similar to Bloodborne and it has a similar length for the platinum. But Bloodborne, I think I only did 2 playthroughs. This one I did 3 and it was still only 60 hours. So yeah, Dark Souls 2 was also a struggle with the rings. Oh yeah, and then Elden Ring took an insane amount of time, but most of that was because I did 2 playthroughs of my own fun. But But in my notes, I say it could have been done 30 hours quicker, so that would still would have been 130 hours, which is crazy. I don't know how long the Elden Ring plat takes if you really, like, rush it, but casually took me like 130 hours. I mean, you have to get all those endings. But I don't expect Liza P to be as long as Elden Ring, but yeah, I would say this is a shorter Souls Platinum. I would say in general, if you're looking to get into Souls and you're like a trophy hunter, this would be a good starting point. A lot of the Souls games have really frustrating trophies like get every ring, get every etc. This game has a little bit of that, but it's not insane. You have to get every weapon in the game, but that isn't as crazy as it sounds. If you do 2 playthroughs, then you pretty much get every weapon, except maybe one that you have to look up because there's like a side quest for it, but yeah, it's not as bad as it sounds. And in terms of endings, the endings aren't so bad. You have to do, there's kind of a system in this game where you lie or you tell the truth, and then you get 2 endings depending on how much you lied or how much you told the truth. And so you have to make sure that you kind of go in knowing what kind of playthrough you're doing, or else you'll risk having to do another playthrough. So, yeah, the 11 and 0, the legendary worst platinum of all time, will never be beaten. Final Fantasy IX. Anyways, that's Liza P. I love this game. It has quickly become probably my favorite Souls game. It's not the best Souls game by any means, but I just really like it. I really like the combat. I really like the themes. I really like everything about it. The music, the atmosphere. Like, it's just kind of my jam. So, I really like this game a lot. I think it's a good entry-level Souls game, but it is pretty tough. But, I like it as kind of a Souls game that's not a FromSoft Souls game. I think I can comfortably say it's the best non-FromSoft Souls game. I think I can actually say that for sure. But it's up there. It's a very, very good Souls game and has its own unique style. Copies a lot from Bloodborne, but also has a lot of its own things going on. My biggest complaint with this game is the level design just is not as good as Souls. The level design kind of gets bad halfway through the game. You're just kind of doing the same thing over and over and fighting the same enemies over and over. Doesn't have that Souls flair of, like, you're in a giant field with a tower that can turn you to stone, and there's, you know, a poison swamp, and then a ball comes rolling down a hill, and, like, all that stuff is in the game. Like, everything I just mentioned is actually in the game. But, like, it's, I don't know, it's not set in the same way as Souls. Like, Souls has so many memorable sections where it's like, oh, I remember that. Man, that part. I hated that part. Like, this game, not so much. It all kind of blends together. There are a couple memorable spots, but for the most part, it does the typical Souls thing and leaves it at that. It doesn't have any, like, really special, yeah. Like, that's probably the most gimmicky part, is, like, the 2 big walker guys in the field with the cannon shooting at you. But there's a lot of stuff. Oh, yeah, Neo's a good one, too, that we could compare to. But Neo is also kind of insane. 96 hours. Yeah, Neo's kind of insane. Like, in terms of getting the platinum. But beating Neo was not that long. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of my only big complaint with Liza P. I think the story could have been told a bit better. It gave me this feeling that it was going to be a Souls game that actually had, like, a really cool, interesting story that was actually told to you in a narrative. And instead it ended up just being another Souls type game where it's hard to really tell what the story is unless you look it up. It was a little better. There was definitely a better, like, main story you could follow, but I was hoping for a bit more in the storytelling department. But, you know, you play the game over and over, you pick up more details every time, and it's still an interesting story. But, yeah, that's it. Lies of P Platinum. And that was our 176th Platinum Trophy.